Ooh, tonight was a bit of a doozy in self-coaching world. So we are literally on day one of the coronavirus 2020 kind of self-quarantine. I mean, we haven't really been told that we have to isolate ourselves, but based on what I'm reading, I'm really at this point choosing the social distancing route. And that's what feels right to me. So I have been posting some nuggets of my thought process, but not nearly as many as I realized that I can be. So I decided that I want to start sharing some of my self-coaching snippets. And tonight was a doozy. Like, tonight was a little hard for me to work through. But through many notes and scratching and scribbling and circling, I feel like I'm able to move forward in a way that feels good to me right now. So I'm just going to keep sharing what's coming up for me, because if it's coming up for me, it's coming up for someone else out there. And the thing that was sticky for me today around the coronavirus and what our actions are for social distancing as a family, I was really struggling with whether or not to let my kids, my 2 teen daughters, boyfriends into the house, and whether or not let my kids spend time with their boyfriends. And I can't say for sure that I have like the answer. Well, I know I don't have the answer, but I can't say for sure I even have the answer for me. But I have the answer for me tonight. And that's what matters. We have to do the self-coaching over and over and over again. So we have some clarity in a moment. We can make some room for the next steps. So right now, I feel like I came to a point that feels clear until the next time I have to face this or something else. So the question really was, should I say no to boyfriends? And so I just ran some models. The model is a tool that Brooke Castillo teaches in the Life Coach School. That's where I'm trained as a life coach. And the model represents 5 pieces. So the first piece is a circumstance. That's a fact. It's something we would all agree on, we would know to be true. This is particularly tricky in times of the coronavirus because we're reading so many different things. How do we know what's true? So a fact might look like the New York Times article titled XYZ says, and then a quote. That would be like, the fact is that the article says that. Whether it's an actual fact or not, that's pretty tricky right now. So the first part of the model is a circumstance. It's a fact. It's what's happening, right? There is a pandemic. We could say that that is a fact. Now, some people might say it's all made up and it's not actually a fact, but in a court of law, that would stand true as a fact right now. The second piece of the model is a thought. So I don't want them to... Oh, I'm reading you my thought. Wait, I'm not there yet. The thought is the thought that we're having about the fact, right? So there's a global pandemic. I guess that's maybe redundant, but what is the thought I'm having about it? This is scary, might be a thought. Or I don't know what to do, might be a thought. Or people are going to die, might be a thought. So the second piece of the model, first piece is the fact, the circumstance. Second piece is your thought about that. The next piece, the third piece of the 5, is your feeling. So what feeling is created when you think the thought? If we're thinking the thought people are going to die, we may feel fear. If we're thinking the thought I can't trust the government, we may feel fear. If we're thinking the thought I'm going to hold the people I love close to me, we might feel love. If we're thinking the thought, I have lots of tools and resources, we might feel relief. The next part is the action. So the fourth piece is action. What's the action we're taking from the feeling? And so if the feeling is relief, we may gather up all our vitamins and our necessary prescriptions, and the groceries that we need. If we're acting from a place of having access to resources, we will gather our resources, right? Or if the feeling is scared, we may panic, we may over Google, we may cry, we may chat with friends. I don't know, like you have to look at a specific model, but the action is the action we take when we're in that state, in that feeling. I'm going to give you examples on what happened with me tonight. From that comes a result. So from your action comes a result. If your action is, let's say your thought is, I need to go to the grocery store, and your feeling is, your thought is I need to go to the grocery store. Your feeling is motivated, and your action is go to the store. The result is get your groceries. It's kind of that simple, right? So what happened for me today is I was really trying to decide about this boyfriend thing, and I was having so many feelings, so many hard feelings about it, particularly about being the mean mom, about overreacting, about underreacting, about all the things. So my circumstance, I decided what would happen if my circumstance was saying no to boyfriends. So saying no to boyfriends, I just put that in the circumstance line to see what would happen if that was my fact, right? Say no to boyfriends. That's my fact. That's my circumstance. And I realized that the first thought I was having is, I don't want them to hate me. I don't want the boys to hate me. I don't want the other parents to hate me. I don't want my own kids to hate me, especially if I'm going to be cooped up with them for X number of weeks. We have no idea. So I kept thinking, I don't want them to hate me. Like I kept thinking it over and over and over again. And it was creating this fear in me. And there was other thoughts I was thinking too, but this is the one I use the model with. I don't want them to hate me, creating fear. Now, I've been saying over and over again, as this coronavirus has happened, we're going to feel fear and we're going to feel love, right? And so we need to allow the fear to move through us, and we need to act from a place of love. So when I act from a place of fear, when I'm thinking I don't want them to hate me, and I act from a place of fear, what I do is that I start looking for reasons that my yes is okay, even when I see reasons that it's not okay, right? Like, so I see evidence maybe that it's not a good choice, and I keep looking for more evidence that maybe it is a good choice. So one parent says it's a good idea, another parent says, no way, you can't do that. One parent says, we're letting boyfriends come to our house. Another parent says, absolutely not. So when I'm in a state of fear, I look for the reasons that I can say yes to boyfriends and keep my kids from hating me, keep all the people from hating me. Basically, another action I take from fear is that I go against my own values. I go against my own instinct, my own gut, my own intuition. I kind of ignore it. When I'm in a place of fear, I ignore what I believe I should be doing, what feels true and right to me. And so the result of those actions is that I end up hating myself. Not only do I end up taking risks with the virus, but I end up hating myself. And my kids are going to hate me anyway because I'm all confused, and it's going to wreak all kinds of havoc in the house. And so when I act from a place of fear, I'm still creating the hate that I'm trying to avoid. When I think I don't want them to hate me. So then I started thinking, what would it look like if the same circumstance was saying no to boyfriend, that stayed my fact, stayed my truth, but I was acting from a place of love. If I was acting from a place of love, I realized that the thought that was creating the love was, I want to protect as many people as possible. So for me, I want to protect us from spreading the virus if we have it and don't know we have it. I want to protect more people from getting sick. I want to flatten the curve. I want to stop the spread of the virus as much as I can, right? From this place of love. I don't want people to die that are exposed because of me. I don't want us to get sick, right? I want to protect as many people as possible. I want to protect all the people, because that's literally impossible for me to protect all the people. It's just, I want to protect as many people as possible for me. And that gives me this sense of love. Like, I feel love when I think that. I feel like that's the kind of person I want to be, is one who protects as many people as possible. And if I were acting from that place of love, my action would be to be extra cautious, right? To not let the boyfriends in the house, and be okay with that, right? Just like say, you know what? I'd rather take extra caution than not enough caution. And when I do that, I do, in fact, protect as many people as possible. That's the result. So when I think I want to protect as many people as possible, and I choose to act from love, I, in fact, do protect as many people as possible. Versus the other way around, where I'm thinking I don't want them to hate me, and I end up hating myself because I take actions that go against my want to love, right? My want to do the right thing, to make the best choice for all the people, not just my people, but all the people. So I feel much better. I feel like even if they do hate me, if I'm acting from a place of love, from protecting all the people, then I get to go to bed, I get to put my head on the pillow feeling like I protected as many people as possible. And that feels so much better than the other model of acting from the place of fear. So for tonight, that has given me some awareness, right? It's given me some perspective to move into tomorrow. Based on tomorrow's circumstances, things might change. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what will happen, because it seems these days everything's changing so quickly. But for tonight, that amount of self-coaching feels good. It feels right. It feels like I don't have to go to bed confused. I don't have to go to bed wondering how I'm going to get through the next many weeks. I don't have to go to bed wondering if I'm going to make the right decision, or spinning back and forth about it. I can go to bed with the awareness that what I want to do is act from love and choose to protect as many people as possible. And if that means that my girls are upset that they don't get to spend time with their boyfriends, that's where we're at right now, because love is asking me to take this action of protection and social distancing. So that's what I have for you. If you have questions about the model and the thoughts that you're thinking, please, please, please reach out. I'm going to post as many of these little voice recordings as I can, because I find them to be helpful. Like I like hearing and watching other people's process. It helps me. So if that helps me, then this might help you. And please reach out if you have things that you're trying to work the model through. I do coach for a living, so I'm balancing that thing of I'm just going to coach for free. I'm going to help all the people. And I am going to do that as much as I possibly can. And then I also coach for a living if that's something they feel like they can afford and want more in-depth coaching. But please don't ever hesitate to ask for what you need. This is really hard times and hard stuff, and I want to be able to give as much as I can. So if you reach out to me in a moment that I feel like I have time and space to help you, whether you pay me or not, I will do that. So let's just, for now, do the best we can at all self-coaching in whatever way works for us. Because the best we can do is put our heads on the pillow, feeling like we have some awareness and some clarity, and that we've gotten the confusion out on paper and sorted out a little bit. Okay, stay healthy, everybody.